Welcome to Bloodbath & Beyond. Today we're doing a retrospective review of Fall Break, aka The Mutilator. By sword, by pick, by axe, bye-bye.
Written and directed by Buddy Cooper, starring Matt Mitler and Ruth Martinez, The Mutilator is about a group of college kids who are looking to get away on fall break.
We're going on a
fall break, fall break! They decide to go to a beachfront condo and relax for 4 days. Unfortunately, they're attacked by a crazed murderer. Since this is an old movie from the 80s, there are going to be a lot of spoilers. What do we like about this movie, guys?
I loved how absolutely campy and cheesy this film was. It felt like a TV sitcom, from music to acting to just how it was all executed, and it made it fun. Like, it was a horror movie, but it felt like a sitcom.
It didn't intentionally try to be campy in the slightest.
Do you think so?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I couldn't tell.
It.
But it certainly felt like they couldn't act. Specifically, Macho Mike.
Oh, man. Macho, huh?
Yeah. Every single scene he's in, he just seems so awkward, whether it's his hands being out of place or him like shifting around a little bit, or just his delivery of dialogue. I just thought he was hilarious.
It looks like it's been loaded down with chlorine.
Will that hurt you?
No, in fact, it probably prevents herpes.
It seemed like he wasn't an actor.
There's a certain charm to this movie, right? You're just gonna be happy watching it because it's just like, that's what you want out of an 80s slasher film.
There's so many like weird things. Kind of like Pam just like constantly asking questions and just like trying to maybe further the story or something. Like it seemed weird.
How long do you think it's been since they were here?
What if this place has been broken into? No cops.
Almost always.
It was hilarious because you're always gonna make fun of so many damn situations in this movie.
Need any help lighting your fire?
Oh! I think the highlight is Ralph's character. Like, I loved Ralph's character. He was comic relief, and his death was the only one that really impacted me because I felt for it, because I didn't want him to die. I loved seeing Ralph on. He was cracking jokes, pulling pranks.
His jokes were dad jokes.
His mannerisms were very funny.
You know he's going to die. They don't
know.
make a character funny and not kill him.
You gotta kill him. I'm surprised he lasted that long, to be honest.
The gore and the kills in this movie were actually, I think, pretty well done. A few exceptions. There's one particular drowning scene. Don't get me wrong. I loved the suspense of it, the mystery.
The where are my friends every time the lights went out.
Yeah.
Where did everybody go?
They could teach a master class on how to build suspense and get to what has to be one of the best payoffs in 80s slasher movies.
Favorite drowning scenes. Definitely Mutilator, number one.
But I appreciate that the killer actually got naked to go into the pool. Like he's just participating in the fun. Little Marco Polo in the nude. I liked the variety of weapons we had. This film set itself up perfectly to be like, hey, what's this hook doing in the wall? You knew it was going to be a weapon later on.
Yeah, that's what's great. It's just like, hey, Ed's going to show you at the cottage. And he's going to talk about every single thing that's on the wall, and all of those things are going to be used later on in the film. And thankfully, we get good payoffs.
If you go in expecting this movie to be called Mutilator, it's gonna throw you off. But the Fall Break theme song just perfectly highlights how 80s this movie is.
We're going on a
fall break, fall break. It brings home the point of it being like a TV show when you watch the end credits, because they're playing this Fall Break theme song and they're just showing every single person's name, which made me feel like I was watching Full House or Step by Step or Family Matters. Just like, it's TGIF, but not Friday.
What didn't we like about this movie?
I think it was weird that like sometimes people would walk into a room and they wouldn't have anything to say, so they just wouldn't say it. Even like the very beginning of the movie, a little boy kills his mom, and then dad comes home fuming, doesn't say a word to his son, just murdered his mom, no big deal. Later on, like there's some friends hanging out, they're having some beers, they're supposed to be having like a party montage scene. They laugh, they realize they're still rolling, and they drink some beer and laugh some more, and it's just so strange. And there was a lot of scenes like that. There's just like absence of dialogue. I don't think it was well written at all.
There's an entire game called Blind Man's Bluff
Hey, I got a great idea. How about a game of blind man's bluff?
All right.
where they're supposed to be walking in the dark and can't see anything, but it is so evident that light from the moon is shining into every room that it's impossible to take serious.
I think the girl hidden behind the cooler was totally the best spot in the entire house to hide. Why didn't she just hide under the fucking picnic table?
That's where the people had to go when they fell for the blind man's bluff.
I have no idea how this game works. It's like hiding.
They actually explain all of the rules.
Yeah,
You should have been paying
yeah.
attention, John.
But I don't know what it's called when it's like they're it, but they get themselves it. No.
They need to have people.
Cut to a scene of the rules.
Whoever is it stays in the house, and the rest of us go outside and drink a beer. The person playing it hides himself, and we all come back in and try to find him. When we do, we stand or sit or lie down next to him. There'll just be one person wandering around the house, trying to find everybody else.
I don't think this movie really established any sort of fear or concern. There was no atmosphere, there's no tension. And I think it was not well written. It's not a good story, and the actors weren't believable. Overall, you just have a movie that's just happening.
And like, I'd probably watch it again, but like, only because I know it's like a bad movie with some decent gore and a pair of boobs. It's worth noting that the killer, you know who the killer is every time, and he is not menacing. He looks dumb as hell. He looks like he's taking a shit every time he's killing somebody. You would expect some kind of cool twist, but there isn't any twists.
Yeah, it had potential for that twist at the end or some sort of like collaboration or something. I don't know. It just kind of ended with them looking out the window.
It's really odd when you actually think why Ed's dad is killing everyone and why it took this long for him to start killing. He clearly went mad when Ed was like 8, maybe. Fast forward probably 15, 16 years later, and now he's a killer? Like, what's he been doing at the cottage this whole time?
Drinking.
With his buddies.
Throwing shit at the wall and framing it.
Dad won the contest, naturally, and this was his winning toss.
You could have made an interesting story. The concept at the beginning, it's kind of cool. It's like, what happens if this kid kills his mom? He turns out fine, somehow, and the father's crazy. So like, yeah, there's a missed opportunity here.
Yes. I know that this is a cult classic movie. People love this movie. And I don't think they love it because it's so excellently written and engaging.
Yeah, no, this is a B movie, right? Like you.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, right? So this is why people like it. This is why we liked it. It's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Overall, I think this movie, given that I'm looking back at it now, is just average. It's just okay. Overall, there's nothing wrong in the sense that it's a B movie slasher 80s movie. I don't feel like it maybe deserved that cult status that much. There's so much bad to it. You know, the dialogue, the acting, the kills are the only real saving grace of it. I understand why people like it, and I think if I was older when it first started coming out, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But just looking back now, I think it just doesn't live up as well as other movies do. So for that reason, I'm giving it 3 senior discounts out of 5.
Hey, how old do you have to be to get that discount?
65.
65? Hey, man, now that's discrimination.
The Mutilator's like a fine enough movie, but I think you need to watch it with some friends and have some drinks and maybe some marijuana cigarettes. The acting is god-awful. Most people in this movie are not great. I did really like the gore, and I think like a lot of the kills were excellent, but it feels like somebody had like a loose idea to make a movie and just went and did it. And I will watch it again. Don't get me wrong, but I do like laughing along with it. So I'm gonna give this 2.5 Slick Daddy Deers out of 5.
This is definitely an interesting film because everything that is a dislike, I actually kind of like. The kills were great, and the characters are just downright bad that you just can't help but enjoy it. I think this has an amazing theme song, and it does have that TV show feel, but as a horror film, just watching it, it doesn't really hit the mark. It has good kills, but terrible story and not the most entertaining characters. But when you're watching it with friends, you're gonna have a good time because you're gonna laugh at everything that's going on. You're gonna be interacting with each other, talking to the TV, being like, what are you doing? You can see them. And in the end, you're just gonna have fun, and I would recommend this to people. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 2.5 half a killers out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't, there are links in the description description where you can find it. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.